Blessed love to each and everyone. We definitely give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie the First, of course, in all good doings and all good saying, even at this moment. Yes, give thanks for your presence with us, royal family, in great joy and happiness, and the keep perfect and oneness. Of course, you know you are definitely into the tiger's nest. The Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. A wonderful evening. We are definitely broadcasting from Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice, and definitely streaming this evening onto the YouTube. And of course, we're going to be having a wonderful reasoning, a wonderful discussion. We're going to be talking about the true biblical land of Israel. And the reality is this conversation is somewhat coming off of the reasoning that we were having previous night on Rasta Round Table. So it's going to be a nice one this evening here on the Tiger's Nest. And let me even ask, what was your opinion of the program previous night on the Tiger's Nest? Rasta Round Table, pardon me. Beautiful discussion, as I said, personally, beautiful discussion. I know it would have seemed as if it would have gone a bit off the track with certain conversation and meditation, but in my book, it is still all good. But you see, this is why I wanted to draw for the biblical land of Israel this evening. Again, my whole meditation is to edify, the students that are here at the Institute, really, who are seeking that sincere knowledge, that sincere milk. And because the conversation, as it relates to the original Israel and the true Israel, and if Ethiopia adopted certain specific things, I said I just wanted to revisit the subject this evening, the true biblical land of Israel. But I'm going to be paying special attention to the Mediterranean Sea, or what we are supposed to believe is the Great Sea. I mean, family, this is a mystic one. This is a deep one. Of course, definitely asking you to just bear with us and be with us in all ways and all doings. This is a wonderful session that we are having this evening right here on the Tiger's Nest. Beautiful. So again, family, give thanks for your presence with us as we enter. Blessed love, let me ask you, family, what's the age of your child or children? Do they attend public school and will be on summer break until September? Well, whatever the age or circumstance, we at the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge have great news for you. We will be conducting an online universal summer school camp from Monday, mark the date, Monday the 7th of August to Friday the 25th day of August. Your child or children, no matter the age, will be engaged in various online activities that are enough fun, entertaining, and education. Outside of African history, astronomy, biology, and mathematics, which we will be doing, of course, your child or children will learn how to prepare a healthy meal with your supervision. Sure. They will learn the basics of the African language, Swahili, art, even how to start and conduct their own business. Hold on, there's more. Online yoga classes for the youth, field trips to sacred spaces, plus many guest speakers and teachers will join us throughout the Universal Summer School Camp. Enroll your young ones today. If they are up to it, they might even be a special guest co-host on a radio program on Radio Anu. Many people will be listening. Now listen to this. If you are currently or were previously a part of our international homeschool program, you pay nothing to be a part of the Universal Summer School Camp. In fact, if you enroll your young ones into our international homeschool program, that is our international homeschool program, a separate program all by itself. That is months worth of daily classes on different subject areas for your young ones. If you enroll your young ones in our international homeschool program before the 1st of August, your child or children will partake of the summer school camp free, of course. So family, what are we waiting for? This will definitely be a benefit for your youths. It will keep them occupied, plus we promise you convenience as it relates to your time. Do it for them. They will love it. We also have prizes available to be gained, tablets, books, etc. for the outstanding youths. There will even be a special tour of the Prime Minister's office here in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. This is going to be a wonderful summer school camp, universal. So family, you know what to do. For more information, visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com. That's priestisaacinstitute.com, or give us an email, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Give thanks. And just reminding everyone, of course, you are definitely in tune to Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice, of course, giving thanks for your presence with us. And again, this is the Tiger's Nest radio program, a program that comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday right here at this spot. Now, as I said previous evening, not necessarily in the nest, but around the table, we were having a beautiful discussion. And, it really just prompted me to return to a subject that I did promise my audience that I would return to in some depths, which would be the true biblical land of Israel. And of course, I don't want to get too far into the outcome of previous night, a beautiful program again. I mean, when lions gather together, you must hear some roaring. The lions, meow, meow. No, lions roar. So you will hear some roaring. I don't think any blood was spilled, to be honest. Come on. So again, it may have just tipped the scale a bit as far as, certain levels that it should not have reached. But in my opinion, in general, it was a wonderful sit down. And it's good to have sit downs like that when a brother can say, no, man, you have me wrong. You're going around the bush. Nothing wrong with that. A spiritual upliftment. And I think all opinions would really have the opportunity to contend, really, in my book. And I really don't believe in that shotgun sort of mentality, trying to persuade them because you tell somebody something 10 times that they just have to, by right, believe. But within their mind, your output of your information may be flawed. And we, as wise ones, have to even just comprehend that. But anyway, give thanks for the Lion of Judah, who has broken every chain and definitely given us the victory again and again. Beautiful family. So as I said now, I wanted to get into the true biblical land of Israel. I think everyone knows that we would have written a book entitled The Biblical Land of Israel. And a few years ago, I think it was 2018, we revised it and even gave it the upbeat name, the true biblical land of Israel. Now, basically, family, just quickly, and the reason why I am going to, and this is the cover, not the cover itself, the true biblical land of Israel. This one was designed by myself personally at the time. And of course, you go through the book, beautifully set. Of course, you could get it in the whatever formation you want to look at it at. You can see it from a literal book's point of view, you understand, and you could go through it from page to page, to me, well laid out, the true biblical land of Israel. Now, I'm not going to try to read a book for you here. And again, I think that we basically understand that the book itself, the idea of it is just the understanding that, once again, the land of Israel, the land of Israel, according to the biblical description, is really Africa plus Arabia. That's really what it is. So, in other words, when you observe the Bible, you go through the scriptures, it gives you an idea of where the land of Israel, is. And I'm saying that the land, or the landmass of Africa, again, plus Arabia, would really qualify as what the Bible describes as the true biblical land of Israel. Now, you see, some people jump into the argument by saying, well, listen, brother, the Bible is not a credible book. And I mean, you don't know, St. Jerome wrote the Bible 20 times, this fella, that fella, and we get into all sorts of scholarly debates. That's good stuff. I love that. But that's not the point here, at least not as it relates to this. The point here is that according to the Bible, this is the main point, according to the Bible, the land of Israel is Africa plus Arabia. And if an individual would read the book in full, and again, we would have done seminars, lectures, episodes on YouTube on this specific subject, so you could see our point well put out. Again, let me just say before I begin that, because we haven't really begun, I'm just kind of giving you a preface of where we're going. You would have realized that the true biblical land of Israel was once a theological paper, and we would have challenged so many institutions to refute what we are saying. We kind of ease off the challenge thing now, to be honest. We just decide that it's all right, and let's just continue to teach. I mean, if someone thinks they want to say something. In fact, to be honest, what we're going to address this evening, specifically the Great Sea, more so because of a point that was made as it relates to the Great Sea. And of course, I just decided that, okay, since it was directly made to me, let me just address it from a biblical perspective. Now, family, what the true biblical land of Israel is all about. Again, a theological paper, theology, the study of God, etc. Now, things of that nature, I should say. So as you can see, where we have highlighted as the true biblical land of Israel, we begin the book going into the whole aspect of how the initial plot itself really shows you from the book of Genesis, where it highlights in the same day, God made a covenant with Abraham. And of course, we know that the covenant that he was given a land from the river Euphrates to the river in Egypt. I don't really want to go to the fullness of that, but we comprehend that landmass. In fact, to be very honest, in the past few months, I've realized a few people on YouTube are doing videos highlighting that area of the world. This area here, the Middle East, and of course, Northeast Africa, especially that which is to the east of the Nile, as the true land of Israel. Now, in all respect, before we came up with this concept, and this concept is very old, in the sense of my tradition I'm talking. So in other words, let me show you something, and I'm going back to the Rasta round table. A brother like Icer, I'm kind of bringing this home. A brother like Icer. Now Icer, I'm in Antigua, you know. Icer is in Antigua as well. Rasquamai, we all, in a sense, grew up together as Farai, but Rasquamai is not in Antigua right now. I'm trying to show you something. A person like Icer and even Rasquamai would have been around me in my growth as Rastafari. They would have accepted Farai maybe a couple of years before me. And they actually a couple of years my senior, actually. So, I mean, I was on the radio for years, top program. And it's just my studying, you know, a lot of what you hear me come and talk about, you know, it's just me studying and meditating, and I realize how things match together. So when I started to come up with the concept of the true biblical land of Israel, don't get me wrong, I would have always heard that Black people are the true Israelites. It's not as if I make up that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. And you know, Africa is the promised land, New Jerusalem. Sounds nice. But on a narrow it down specific scholarly level, reading my Bible, not being, you know, convinced by Sunday school. So when I read that God gave Abraham a land from the river Euphrates to the river in ancient Kemet, obviously I'm going to jump and look at the landmass at the map and see what's the landmass in between these two rivers. And we are talking about, for sure, as you could, you know, Egypt and parts of Ethiopia and Sudan and etc., Somalia, etc. And as I said, a few people, even some Hebrew Israelites I notice are on YouTube now, and they are promoting this philosophy a lot, that this is the true biblical land of Israel. Well, fair enough. I'm not saying they had necessarily got it from me. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that when we really started to unravel this, it wasn't something really that popular. In fact, we would have challenged Hebrew Israelites. All of these Hebrew Israelite group, you know, from ISUPK to my good brother Nathaniel, the brother there that was trying to diss the king, Gorilla Hebrew, all of these people here that you see on the internet would have received a letter from myself, I'm telling you, and a copy of the book at least, whether it's hard copy or e-copy, you know. So in a sense, my whole presentation is put out first. It's not as if you're coming to sit with me and you don't know what I'm going to say, and I don't know what you're going to say. In many cases, I don't know what nobody's going to say, but everyone knows what I'm going to say if you read the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. So again, so I'm just highlighting, you would see a lot of ones pushing this now. But as I said, there is an expansion of the land, you know, and the expansion of the land really came in the time of the book of Joshua. In the second chapter, you see me speak about the expansion of the land from the river Euphrates to the Great Sea, which is really where we want to take it this evening. Now, of course, my book also highlights the whole agreement, the Balfour Declaration of 1917, the creation of Israel in 1948. All of these things are highlighted just to kind of bring a balance, so at least you could see the narrative from the different sides as such. And then, as I said, now we even showed you in the New York Times, Zionist proclaims new state of Israel. And even that came up in the reasoning previous nights as it relates to Zionists and the true Hebrew, the true Israelites. And that was quite interesting when it says that the emperor would have accepted the Hebrew tradition, but not Zionists. And that's clearly showing you, because you see, you cannot take His Majesty out of the realms of what is taking place in the world as it relates to white supremacy and domination of the world. You know, he is the emperor that literally crack white supremacy, you know, and crush what is called racism, because racism is really white supremacy. Racism isn't this race don't like that race and all of these things. I am one of the students of Frances Cress Welsing and Nellie Fuller. Racism is white supremacy. And for us to go into the depths of it, Zionism and all these things, the emperor himself come and put a serious dent in these movements. So it is interesting that he would accept, obviously, the ancient Hebrew traditions, but not Zionism. So it is as if there's a clear line between these two things, which there is really. Now, this is it. I'm going to do some reading here for you. As I said, my family, we are not going to obviously go through the book, but I want to highlight the whole aspect of the Great Sea more than anything else. Now, in modern day theology and just belief in general, we are taught that the Great Sea is the Mediterranean Sea. In fact, let me just do some reading. Family, I hope you're in the mood for some reading tonight. We're going to go through this. I want you to get understanding of the reality of what is known as the concept of the true biblical land of Israel. Now, I may not read the whole chapter, but let's just go through. Buckle your seatbelts. Chapter 2, the expansion of the land. Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, son of Nun, different levels again. Moses' minister say, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I give unto thee, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea towards the going down of the sun, shall be your course. That's Joshua chapter 1, verse 1 to 4. And the author says, the key word here to remember is expansion, meaning that the land got larger, not smaller. Larger than what? What you talking about? Larger than what I just showed you a moment ago, from the river Euphrates to the river Euphrates to the river in ancient Kemet, the river in Egypt. You see it here. All right, it got bigger than that according to the scripture there. So obviously now, when you look at even the land of Israel today, which is Palestine, this is Israel, Palestine, this is considered not only part of Israel, but almost the whole thing. That's why everything is inside of it like a little amusement park. Now, the land was supposed to get bigger, not to shrink. That's a shrunken version of the initial plot of land. But anyway, let me just continue to read. The key word here to remember is expansion, meaning that the land got larger, not smaller. The Euphrates was still a key boundary for the land, but now the Nile has been replaced by the Great Sea. The question is, which sea is the Great Sea? The answer is the Atlantic Ocean. But the accepted body of water for the biblical Great Sea is the Mediterranean Sea. I wonder if you get what I'm saying. Let us keep in mind the key word expansion. If the Mediterranean Sea was that Great Sea of the Bible, that means that the expansion of the land located between the Euphrates and the Nile is now between the Euphrates and the Mediterranean Sea. The expansion. Good. So that's why I show you now the map, the Mediterranean Sea to the west of Palestine. Here it is. Because again, the Great Sea, anyway, we haven't reached that far really, but here is Palestine, which is now called Israel. And on the west coast of Israel, you do see the Mediterranean Sea, which according to the Bible, the Great Sea is to the west coast of Israel. The Bible didn't say the Mediterranean Sea was to the west coast. It says the Great Sea is to the west coast of Israel. Not to the west coast of Palestine, Israel. It just so happened that the country they call Israel today, there is a sea to the west of it, the Mediterranean Sea, which biblical and theologians would like to want us to believe is the biblical Great Sea. Let me continue to read. As we can see, using the Mediterranean Sea as the Great Sea of the Bible gives us a much smaller plot than the original one given to the patriarch, that's Abraham. Right. So in other words, when you use the Mediterranean Sea as the Great Sea, the land gets smaller. If we are to accept my theory that the Great Sea is the Atlantic Ocean, then we will see an obvious expansion from the Euphrates to the Atlantic Ocean. The Great Sea is all of Africa plus the Arabian Peninsula. Very good. Let's continue to read. And it says here, on the east side, he shall measure from Huran, and from Damascus, and from Gilead, and from the land of Israel by Jordan, from the border unto the east sea. This is the east side. Okay. And the south side southwards from Tamar, even to the water strife in Kadesh, the river to the Great Sea. And this is the south side southward. The west side also shall be the Great Sea from the border till a man come over against Hamath. This is the west side. So shall he divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel. Ezekiel chapter 47. And you're saying, okay, that's beautiful. So what does all of that mean? Well, we're going to continue and read. The prophet Ezekiel, in his description of the promised land, speaks of the Great Sea as a border mark. To the south, hear this, to the south and also to the west of the Holy Land. Follow me, family. He also speaks of the sea located to the direct east of this land, known as the East Sea. This is very strange, for when we observe modern day Israel, this geographic description given in the book of Ezekiel does not coincide with its borders. Are you following me, family? We are reading from the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. It is very easy for you to get a copy of this book. I'm sure you know what to do. Those of you on Radio Anu, obviously you are already on the website. You just go to the area marked shop and seek out this book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. And if you run into other books, which you will, you could purchase those too. We have a special bundle going on, by the way, just in case you didn't know. And of course, our webinars and seminars and documentaries and so many other things are right there on our website. So I would encourage you. It's very inexpensive, $15 or $20 or something of the sort. I would encourage you, if you do not have a copy of this read that I'm reading, The True Biblical Land of Israel, you should get a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel. First of all, the Great Sea to the west of modern-day Israel is the Mediterranean Sea. You get that. But the sea to the south of modern day Israel is not the Mediterranean Sea, the so-called Great Sea. So what's your point? Modern day Israel is not really known for its southern coast, as it is extremely short and bordered by the northeastern tip of the Gulf of Eilat, which has its source in the Red Sea. The fact is that the Gulf of Eilat is seen more as a common coastline for Egypt. What is this man saying here? Israel, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. The sea to Israel's west coast is not the sea located at its south coast. Well, at its south. So what's your point? Well, let's just what I'm getting to the point if you don't get the point as yet. So you have the Gulf of Eilat or Aqaba. Look at here. This is, if you want to say, the southern coast of Israel. So this is the southern coast of Israel, where you have basically an offshoot of the Red Sea. So technically, you could just consider it the Red Sea, an offshoot specifically of the Red Sea. Very good. So you see it right here again, Egypt and Israel, and this is just a bigger, a clearer rendition. And this is the same spot here you see highlighted in the bigger box. Very good. So let me just show you again on the map. So of course, you know, Israel would be, okay, Israel, Palestine, of course, would just be between the Sinai, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. That's Israel, former Palestine, basically. And of course, to the west, yes, you have the Mediterranean Sea, which they're saying is the Great Sea. And to the south coast, little south coast that you could hardly see, you have the Red Sea, two different seas, really. The offshoot of the Red Sea, Aqaba, or the Gulf of Eilat. So even if you were to look on a bigger map, you could clearly see that the sea, you can see that the sea, the Mediterranean Sea, in a sense, ain't really got nothing to do with the Red Sea, you know. Only when you make the Suez Canal, which is somewhere else, you can connect them both. But that's not nature, that's people digging out the land to make a passageway for ships. So really, from the biblical perspective, again, the biblical land of Israel, or let us say now, the modern day Israel, let us just be clear, the modern day Israel has the Mediterranean Sea to the west coast, which is considered the Great Sea, but the Mediterranean Sea is not to the south coast. Good, let me just continue to read now. I think the narrative says it all. It was not, if it was not for the artificial waterway known as the Suez Canal, see I tell you, there would be no direct access to the Mediterranean Sea from the Red Sea. Do you get that? If it was not for the artificial waterway known as the Suez Canal, there would be no direct access to the Mediterranean Sea from the Red Sea. In the time of Ezekiel, there was no Suez Canal. The book of Ezekiel clearly says that the Great Sea is to the south and also to the west of the true biblical land of Israel. Let me repeat that again. The book of Ezekiel clearly says that the Great Sea is to the south and also to the west of the true biblical land of Israel. This totally disqualifies the Mediterranean Sea as a candidate for the biblical Great Sea. Why? If the Mediterranean Sea was the Great Sea, it should be to the west and also to the south of the land, being the land of Israel. Let me be clear there, and the author is very clear. When we read Ezekiel, Ezekiel clearly showed you, and Ezekiel used the term also. I love this term. The west side also shall be the great sea. The west side also shall be the great sea, because the south side was the great sea. So the also is showing you that the great sea was at more than one border as far as the direction of the coast, more than one coast, the direction thereof. It was at the west coast, and it was also at the south coast, the Great Sea. So the Mediterranean Sea cannot be the Great Sea, clearly, as it is showing you, because the Mediterranean Sea, yes, is to the west of so-called modern-day Israel, created by the Balfour Agreement, and in 1948 they kind of just finished it up. Yes. But it's not the Mediterranean Sea. It's not to the south coast. Israel hardly has a south coast to speak of. And the little south coast it has, it's not the Great Sea, at least not the Mediterranean Sea. It's the Red Sea. It's disqualified. That's the point. It's disqualified. We need to stop tiptoeing around this. It's disqualified. We only keeping up this because somehow we have this phobia of accepting our Afrocentricity. It's a shame when a Rasta man say they're trying to, because they're only trying to pretend to burn a fire on ancient Kemet. Straight up, it's a shame. It's a shame. Imagine you burning fire on your ancient Afrocentricity. Civilization at its highest. According to Ezekiel 47, there is a sea directly to the east of Israel. This sea is known as the East Sea. This is another undisputed strike against modern-day Israel, being the biblical land of Israel. Why you say that? For there is no sea whatsoever to the east of modern-day Israel, nowhere around, not even close. The closest sea is located way to the northeast. That is the Caspian Sea. And that would just be ridiculous. In modern day Israel, there's no East Sea. So in other words, I mean, in other words, fam, you're supposed to go to the East Sea, the coast, to the east part of Israel. You're supposed to go to the east part of Israel, the eastern border, and jump in a sea. Now, Israel has an eastern border, not necessarily an eastern coast, but the Bible said it has an east coast. And in fact, you can jump off of the east coast and jump into the East Sea. And not only is modern day Israel not equipped with an eastern coast and an East Sea, there's no sea nowhere around. Nowhere around. Nowhere around. Desert, sun. Where is the sea? Africa, as we know it, has a sea to its east. It is the so-called Indian Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean, which I am proclaiming to the world as the biblical Great Sea, is to the west and also to the south of Africa. Again, Ezekiel clearly says that the Great Sea is to the west and to the south of Israel. Plus, to the east, there is the East Sea. Modern Israel does not align with this description at all, in any way. The land of Africa and Arabia fits this description perfectly. from the river Euphrates to the great sea, the true biblical land of Israel. And I mean, we can continue, but let me just hold it there for a moment because, again, one might mention, but His Majesty said, one thing I know, His Majesty renamed the town in Ethiopia. I think the town was Consul. And he renamed, no, the town was Adama. Adama. He renamed, anyone knows what the King of Kings renamed Adama to? Nazareth. Nazareth. That is something for discussion all by itself, you know. But as I said, family, not even going into from Dan to Beersheba, not even going into the whole mystics of the river Gihon and how it speaks of the city of David being to the west of the Gihon. We can go into all of that. All of that is in the book, plus more. You know, as I said, it is a wonderful read for those of you who want to be inspired, for those who may not have ever even visited that theory of the chosen Israelites of God being I. And it goes into that too, not just the land, but it also goes into who the people are, you know. So definitely that is why we decided to address it this evening, even on that level, coming off of the reasoning previous night. Okay, we go too far. Let me just give you this information here once again. Family, this is the Tiger's Nest.
Blessed love, let me ask you, family, what's the age of your child or children? Do they attend public school and will be on summer break until September? Well, whatever the age or circumstance, we at the Priest Isaac Institute of Holistic Knowledge have great news for you. We will be conducting an online Universal Summer School Camp from Monday, mark the date, Monday the 7th of August to Friday the 25th day of August. Your child or children, no matter the age, will be engaged in various online activities that are enough fun, entertaining, and education. Outside of African history, astronomy, biology, and mathematics, which we will be doing, of course, your child or children will learn how to prepare a healthy meal with your supervision, for sure. They will learn the basics of the African language, Swahili, art, even how to start and conduct their own business. Hold on, there's more. Online yoga classes for the youth, field trips to sacred spaces, plus many guest speakers and teachers will join us throughout the Universal Summer School Camp. Enroll your young ones today. If they are up to it, they might even be a special guest co-host on a radio program on Radio Anu. Many people will be listening. Now listen to this. If you are currently or were previously a part of our international homeschool program, you pay nothing to be a part of the Universal Summer School Camp. In fact, if you enroll your young ones into our international homeschool program, that is our international homeschool program, a separate program all by itself, that is months worth of daily classes on different subject areas for your young ones. If you enroll your young ones in our international homeschool program before the 1st of August, your child or children will partake of the summer school camp free, of course. So family, What are we waiting for? This will definitely be a benefit for your youths. It will keep them occupied. Plus, we promise you convenience as it relates to your time. Do it for them. They will love it. We also have prizes available to be gained, tablets, books, etc. for the outstanding youths. There will even be a special tour of the Prime Minister's office here in the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. This is going to be a wonderful summer school camp universal. So family, you know what to do. For more information, visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com. That's priestisaacinstitute.com, or give us an email, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Give thanks.